Welcome to the very first episode of It's Not Just a Tuesday. Here we go. This podcast is all about storytelling. It's all about sharing our stories with one another, connecting, and finding the ways that we know work to help share our stories. I'm your host, Andrea Walker-Leidy, and this is a little bit of a dream come true for me. Before I get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I got here, but also what happened on my Tuesday. Every week when I come to you, I'm going to talk about my Tuesday. And I'm hopefully going to share some other Tuesdays with you as we bring our guests in and talk about their Tuesdays. The goal of that is to show you just how simple storytelling can be. Whether you're trying to market a business, you're trying to get on social media, you want to be a viral influencer, or you just have a story to share, what happens on your Tuesday is usually a much cooler story than you think. So here I am, getting ready to start this podcast, and I, like everyone else, am having complete imposter syndrome. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It really just means, oh my gosh, there's no reason anyone's going to want to listen to me. Why am I doing this? I can't believe I said I was going to start this podcast. I should probably just call it quits. I knew I would want to call it quits. And so before I started recording these podcasts, I finished the marketing for them. So hint number one, make yourself do the thing you're scared of. So this is what I'm doing. I'm starting to share my story because I think that it'll help others. I think it'll help business owners figure out their branding. I think it'll help individuals and professionals figure out how to share their story. We all know that social media is the place where so many things happen now. To me, it's the general store. It's the water cooler. It's the coffee shop. Social media is where we connect. Everything about what happens on social media is storytelling. It's a photo. It's a video. It's words. It's something that happened in my life that I'm sharing with the people who are following me. Whether that following is large or small, that doesn't really matter. That's your audience. That's your public. I'm in the business of public relations. And I say all the time, all that actually means is relating to your public. So whoever your public is, I want to help people relate to them. It's what I do. Sidebar, 10-year-old Andrea is just so excited right now about the fact that I'm doing this. I used to sit in my living room with our tape recorder cassette player, and I would record myself doing interviews. I wanted to be a radio host. I wanted to have a talk show. We listened to talk shows growing up. And so I would sit and I'd record myself. I'd be the guest and I'd be the host. Not going to be doing that this time. We've got some really cool guests coming. But from little, I loved storytelling. From little, I loved hearing stories and reading and writing stories and sharing stories. To me, that was the whole world. It is the whole world. So I want to encourage you that if you've ever wanted to share your story, whether it's in a post or in a book or in a movie or in a song, this is what we're here to do. We're here to figure out where those pieces are of your story that you forget to tell. We're here to make all of this world of marketing and social media and public relations and branding all less intimidating. Whether you want to post something on LinkedIn so that maybe you get a new job in a few months, or you need to have a full-blown marketing campaign to launch a new business. Feeling empowered on where to find the story is really where to start. So I'm going to start with my Tuesday. We're going to start with what happened in my week and how do I do this? How do we figure out what that looks like? I have an ebook called Authentic Branding. And in that, I talk a little bit more about how this storytelling idea came about and how It's Just a Tuesday and It's Not Just a Tuesday came about. I was shortly after college and I was figuring out work-life balance and starting my career. And a friend and I would just about every month panic about what had happened on Monday and that we were going back on Tuesday. It was like the new version for us of those Sunday scaries, right? But for us, it was all of the things that we may have done wrong today and how are we going to tackle our professional lives the next day. And one Monday night, I said to her, it's just a Tuesday. We're going to be fine. We'll probably mess some things up. We're probably going to disappoint some people, but it doesn't matter that much. As I started going in my career, I started to rethink that because, well, yes, it's just a Tuesday. We all have them. It's no big deal. We make mistakes. We get back up. That is important to remember. When it came time for what is my why and what is my brand and what's important to me, so many of my clients were stumped. So many people thought we have nothing to share on social media. We have nothing that's a press release. Why would anyone want to know more about our business? And they just kept taking out ads and saying they're the best. Well, what happens on your Tuesday is really the only thing that is unique just to you. Your story is the only thing that is unique just to you. In a world where we all may be in the same industry, everyone does what they do differently. Everyone has a unique story that is just theirs. And so I started telling people it's not just a Tuesday. What happens on your Tuesday, what happens in your calendar, is really the thing that makes you you. Usually, it's how you find your why. If you've heard of Simon Sinek, you've heard of the why. And discovering the why is everything. Discovering your why in work and in life is how you continue to drive yourself toward what you enjoy in life. If you haven't taken some time to find your why, this might help you. Hopefully, you feel empowered along the way or in something that you hear. I find my why in storytelling. My vision and my passion in life is sharing stories and connecting with people. I start by sometimes sharing my story, but more than that, and what I've made a career out of, is sharing other people's stories. I love helping people figure out how to show up. And so when we do that, often we start with this stump, right? Okay, I know I'm supposed to be posting to social media if I have a business. I know that I'm supposed to share this if I want to connect with people. But what do I even talk about? And so that's where we get down to the tangible thing, the thing we're going to be doing on all these. It's not just a Tuesdays. What is happening on your Tuesday and how do you storytell it? It's just a different way of thinking than what most people do, but it's a really fun way to feel empowered and embrace your own story and continue with it. So here I am today. This is the day that I have decided I'm going to start recording. It's not just a Tuesday. And I have notes. I have things prepared. I have an agenda. I'm ready to go. And I panic. I don't have a story to tell. This week has been crazy, as most weeks are for all of us juggling work and life. My son was sick. My clients were busy. My schedule changed. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do exactly what I tell my clients to do. I'm just going to show up. I'm going to be me. I'm going to not worry about the fact that even though this is a podcast, someone's going to watch it visibly, and I'm going to need to figure out what I'm going to wear and how I'm going to show up. And what if I stumble? What if I don't say the right thing? So here I am, unapologetically, there you go, showing up because I want everyone to feel like they can show up. I don't think I'm going to be a famous podcaster, but I do think I have something to share. I do think I have a story to share, and I want you to feel empowered to do the same thing. So on Tuesday, I gave a workshop this week. That's my Tuesday. Today, I'm not recording on a Tuesday. The rest of the weeks, I'll be sharing with you on a Tuesday because this Tuesday, I was giving a workshop on social media. Social media workshop was all about strategies, and I go through this exercise. I ask people to open up their calendar. Most people have it on their phone, so they had it with them. And I asked them to tell me what's on their Tuesdays. They look at the last Tuesday, they look at the next Tuesday. So people started sharing with me what was on their calendar and what was going on. Now, these folks were business owners and professionals who were there to discover what's new in social media and what's trending. The first thing I always tell people is I'm not going to tell you the latest trends in social media because you can Google it. And also, it's going to change tomorrow. What I am going to tell you is how to share your story consistently. The best way to do that is to figure out how to not get stuck when you don't feel like you have anything else to say. So that's why I'm doing that now for you. When none of my notes mattered and I realized I really just want to tell people about my Tuesday. So we gave a workshop and it was so fun. One of the people there is launching a really cool and creative business and trying to figure out how to share that business. Her design business is unique, one of a kind. We'll probably have her on later because I can't wait to share her story with you guys. But she said to me, I don't know what to share. We haven't started yet. We don't have product out yet. The website's not done yet. And I said, okay, look at your calendar. What's on your calendar last Tuesday? Tell me it's just a Tuesday. And she said, well, we went to the distributor. We toured this facility. We met with one of the buyers, and we met with one of the actual designers of some of these products. And I said, okay, that sounds really cool. Oh yeah, it was an amazing day. It was so awesome. I'm so excited. Okay, who did you tell about that? Well, I told my husband and I told some of the team. I said, okay, did you share that on social media? Did you email that to your audience? Did you tell your whole team? Because to me, that sounds like a really important day in the evolution and in the journey of your business getting ready to open. And I got to see this really fun aha moment that I get to see on so many people's faces when I do this exercise with them. When she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think to share that on social media. I didn't even think that that was part of our marketing. And it was really fun. It was so cool to see again this aha of it's not just a Tuesday. This is what's leading you to your journey. And that day was a part of your story. And it's now a part of your business's story. And so we talked through how to share that. The first thing I told her and reminded the entire class was document everything. Take a photo, take a video. If you use it now, if you use it later, that's what we talk about doing. Because you never know when you might want to share it, or you never know when you might just want to remember it for yourself. I don't know anyone who doesn't do that often. I know some people aren't in the habit of getting their phone out and taking a photo. They want to live in the moment. And I definitely am one to say, live in the moment. I have a hard time reminding myself to do that because I'm always thinking, what if this is a cool Tuesday that I want to share later? But that's the way I think. It doesn't have to be the way you think. You might have to be intentional about it. You might need to put a reminder on your calendar when you're going somewhere to take a photo on your way in. You don't have to be the person who takes a selfie. You might decide you're going to take a photo of every doorway you walk into and tell us where you are. You might decide that you're going to take a meeting when you're going to take a photo when you meet with a client and share what you're meeting about. You might decide you're going to take a photo of the shoes that you wear when you go to a meeting. I don't know what that looks like for you, and I don't know if a photo or a video is important to how you share your story, but it's just important to remember what's important about your Tuesday. We all have those photo albums or videos from when we were kids that we look at, and it's how we remember. Now, our cell phones hold that. Our social media holds that. The way that we connect with people is in this new way. Instead of bringing out a photo album, we might scroll through our Facebook or our Instagram, right? Being intentional about it is the way that we end up being able to continually connect with people. So my Tuesday, doing a workshop, I am passionate about PR and social media for storytelling and for business growth and for professional growth. That's what I do. And so my Tuesday was filled with that. Did I share about it? Yes. I remembered to share about it, not until the end of the day and then a little bit the next day. That's okay. But I do this work. I don't expect anyone else to think about sharing their story all the time because they're not storytellers. Their business isn't communication like mine is. So if it's not your actual job, it might need to be intentional. It might need to be, okay, next Thursday, I'm going to look at my calendar for the month and I'm going to think through what's happening that is really cool. There are things that are happening in your life that you don't even realize are as cool as they are. I want you to imagine that you're your mom or your favorite aunt telling the story about your Tuesday. So what to you is just, or what to me is just, I got up, got my kid situated, got to a workshop, came back home. My kid was sick. Thankfully, my sister was there to help. And all of that happened on a Tuesday. I rearranged the rest of my day. I figured out how to juggle getting him taken care of and canceled the rest of my workday. But the story that tells about me is really so much more important than anything I could have ever shared in a really poised and professional message to you. Because what it tells you about me is that my life is important. My family is important. My business is important. I love what I do so much that I want to teach other people how to do it at a free of charge workshop. My family is so important to me that I will cancel the rest of my day if my son is sick. But more than that, I've created a world for my life that I can have that balance a little bit. I don't think there's actually work-life balance. That's why I say always it's work-life better, right? I just want to get a little better today than I was yesterday. I don't think it'll ever balance out. On Tuesday, it was not balanced. My Tuesday was completely out of balance. What was supposed to be a perfect balance of work and family, the scales tipped, and my family needed me. So the work did not stay in balance, and that's okay. What's better about that is that I was able to be where I was needed. And that's important to me. Having that balance and having time to adjust isn't everyone's story, right? It's my story. But it's also what's important to the types of people that I'm going to work with. I'm a small business owner. If you're a small business owner, you get to choose the types of people you work with. So it's really important that they know who you are. Sharing the stories of my Tuesdays helps people know who I am so that when they get here and they see who I am, they're not shocked, right? They know that while we're on a Zoom call, there might be a kid who steps in who had a day off school. My clients know that, but I've been intentional about sharing that as part of my story. I want to encourage you to be really intentional about the parts of your story that you share. Be okay with what you share and what you don't share. You get to determine what you share. You get to control everything about the story that you put out there. Now, don't be scared. You can't control what happens after you get it out there. But that's why you can think about it ahead of time. That's why hopefully we've spent some time together thinking through and answering those questions that you have that help you cultivate the story that you feel comfortable with sharing and that you're excited about sharing, and that you don't run out of things to say. As most people say to me about social media, I don't know what else to talk about. I don't know what else to say. What else will we do? I don't know. I've just started this podcast and I'm already panicking about what else will I talk about. But I remember what I tell my clients. Every single day is a whole new story to tell. Every single day is a whole new story to hear, right? I want to hear other people's stories. I want to connect with them. I want to find out what made their day great. I want to find out the challenges in their business. I want to find out what makes them unique. And in the end, it's what's going to determine, as we see it all the time, it's what's going to determine where we shop and what we buy and where we eat and what new book we read. I can't even remember the last time I went one day without hearing somebody's new favorite restaurant or a show they watched or a book they read. All of that is storytelling. All of that is branding. All of that is marketing. That word of mouth that spreads is everything that we do. So I hope that you will stay with me on this journey as we share more. I hope that you will feel empowered, that you have a great story to share. I hope that if you're a business owner, or if you're a professional, or if you are someone who is looking to grow a marketing brand, that you will send in your questions that you want to know so that we can talk about those in future episodes. More than anything, I really just can't wait to share some of the Tuesdays that I think are really cool with you from some people who I love and who are really cool to get to share their stories. And we will just tackle these Tuesdays together. All right. So thank you so much for joining this very first episode of It's Not Just a Tuesday.